Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, the 28th day of June 2024. And of course, this is the final Friday for June 2024. And it is my immense pleasure to come here this afternoon, as always, to spend an hour with you, the listening and viewing audience. So I want to welcome you, whether you have joined us via the airwaves of Von Radio, 860 AM or 93.7 FM, or our Facebook page, and of course Von Radio's website of www.vonradio.com. Whatever social media platform, I want to welcome you. I also want to say good afternoon, and a special good afternoon to all who are listening here on the island of Nevis. All 5 parishes are tuned in. Of course, St. James, St. Thomas Parish, St. Paul's, St. John's, and St. George Parish. All parishes here on the island are tuned into Von Radio, and we appreciate that very much. Indeed, down on the island of St. Kitts, the whole of St. Kitts would tune in on a Friday as well, too, as with all of the other programmings that we have here on Von Radio. But this one for sure, we welcome you in our presence today. At least people would meet me from time to time, and when I don't come, they would ask me what was the problem, why were you not there? So I would have to always explain that, but that's okay. Be that as it may, we want to move further on as well, because within the region we have persons down in Statia, Sabre, St. Martin, French and Dutch that is, and also down in, and I said down, but geographically it's up in the US and British Virgin Islands, and we go further into Puerto Rico and up to North America. Of course, the East Coast, West Coast, Central, Mid-America, so to speak, all of the states that make up the United States of America, and indeed Canada. And more particularly those who are in the Toronto area, who are normally tuned in. Of course, up in Europe, England, France, whole of Europe, where we have our citizens and nationals there, whether working or vacationing, whatever the reason they are there for, I welcome one and all. And of course, over in Asia, our good folks over there in the Republic of China, Taiwan, students and citizens, of course, the Prime Minister, Premier, and the entire delegation have just returned back to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. They would have gone there for the inauguration of the new president of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Of course, that you'll hear more about from either the Premier or the Prime Minister in short order. But it's always good when our people, our officials, can go and visit one of our friends, so to speak. That is the Republic of China, Taiwan, who have been our friends for many, many years, since way back in 1983, 84, thereabout. So that covers all of our listeners and, of course, viewers as well. Indeed, coming back home now, we want to get into the program quickly, where we normally would have different segments for different things. So we want to start by expressing our condolences to all those who are grieving at this time, all of the families that are impacted by the loss of a loved one. And indeed, over the last couple of months, we're seeing persons who are departing this life. But it is, as I've said before, and I continue to say, it is the most difficult period of time for a family or any loved one to face. That is the loss of someone who you would have held near and dear for many, many years. But it is also the reality of life, where you're born, you live, and of course you'll exit this world at some point. And we just have to wrap our head around that and be prepared for the eventuality of a departure from this life. Indeed, some persons would depart at an early age, meaning very tender age. Some would go at midlife, and some would go in their latter years. But whatever the circumstances is, or the circumstances are, then of course that is what we are allotted. So in the brief column this afternoon, of course, we want to join with our colleague, the Honourable Spencer Brand, and his family. They would have had a loss of Spencer's granddaughter earlier this week. I believe it was Wednesday. And indeed, the entire family is certainly affected by this loss of a young, tender age granddaughter at the age of 3 years. Symphony, I believe the name of their granddaughter is. And indeed, I know for a fact, and I speak with authority, and that this one is a difficult one for the entire family to embrace, at least. And I know they're going through some difficult time at this point. And there's always never the right words to express when a loved one is lost, is gone forever. It's a matter of a final point in life for someone. Once they have departed, that's the end of it for this earthly life. So I know, and I can well imagine the difficulties that they're going through at this point in time. Well, I want to say to Spencer, the entire family, the Brand family, Sheila, the son, Stedroy, Brand and his wife, and all of the entire family, that we're here for you. Whatever little support we can give, it might be small, it might be huge, but whatever support we can give, we'll be there for you, and we'll certainly see you through this one. But it will be some time before you can overcome this particular period of grief, but we certainly will show our support as we go along. Spencer Brand family is not the only one that is affected by a loss at this point in time. Of course, up in Fountain, we would have learned of the passing of one Victor Jones. Victor Jones lived right there in that intersection in Fountain when you come from across by, what's his name, Carbu Shop, heading like you're going towards Westbury, right in that intersection, the house on that corner. That's where he would have lived for most of his life back here on Nevis. And Victor was one of those quiet, very quiet fellow. I don't ever heard him speak at any level to say that he was angry about anything or anyone or with anyone. But he was very quiet, and he did some fishing, and he was a community man, because when you live in a community and you contribute and not create any strife and any rare, as they say, then you are certainly the consummate community man. And I think he would have done his part while he was here on earth. So I want to express my sympathies to the Daniel family up there, Frankie, Marsha and Idris and all of you, and of course you have Knife and all of the siblings who are impacted, and the whole Fountain Mount Lily community that will certainly no doubt be affected by the loss of Victor. And I believe his funeral is next Wednesday morning, but we can all listen to Von Radio and get the exact details. But I do believe it's up there at the Fountain Trinity Methodist Church next Wednesday morning, the 3rd of July. So we'll keep an ear open for that and go out and lend our support. Of course, earlier this week as well, we would have lost Becky Nanton. She would have worked down there at the company registry up until her passing. Now, that one was certainly a surprise to me, a tragic one as well too, because I was never aware that she was ill in any way. I probably pass her every morning when I'm heading towards Charlestown. Be that as it may, Becky, I can recall she came here as a very little girl with her father, Elliot Nanton, and I forgot the name of her mom. But anyway, they moved here way back in the late 80s, I believe, because I can recall, because my grandmother would have attended the Church of Christ. That's a church that was initially, it's in Mount Lily now, but it was elsewhere, and I believe it was somewhere in the Potworks area, I believe, Fountain Gut area. Our memories would go from time to time, but I recall them coming here as very young children with their parents, and they've been here ever since. So you can safely say that Becky would have grown up right here on the island of Nevis. They came from St. Vincent, from what I can recall, and here is where they would have called home. And so Becky would have passed earlier this week, and it was certainly a surprise to me. I want to express my sympathies to the entire Nanton family. She would have had, I think there are 1 or 2 siblings here on the island still, and others overseas, but all of them who are hearing me this afternoon, I want to express my sympathies. And of course, this one is certainly a difficult one to embrace, really. and Becky was a young lady. But as I said before, we're born, we will live our life, and at some point we will depart this life, and that is how life goes these days. Of course, tomorrow afternoon is the funeral service of Yaga Kelly, France. That is the wife of Diedrich France, and also the sister of a friend of mine there, Yaga. Ian Kelly, but we call him Yaga. From you know, a lot of these guys like to be called by their nicknames, so I don't think he would mind me calling him Yaga here on the radio this afternoon. But the funeral service, I believe, is tomorrow afternoon, somewhere around 2 o'clock, I believe, up there at the Ebenezer United Pentecostal Church. You know, that's up there in the Gingerland area. When you pass the Methodist Church, there is normally, well, there is a provision stall on the left side of the road, depending on where you're coming from, and then up there on the opposite side on the hill, there is a church there. That's where it will be, the Ebenezer United Pentecostal Church. Those of you who can go to lend your support to the families, both families, please do. I'll try my best, God's willing, to go and lend some support as well. So, all who are in the bereaved column, let me express my sympathies to you, and may God continue to provide you with the guidance, the protection, and also all of the strength that you'll need at this point in time to get through these difficult times. Well, when there is death, there is life, and when there is life, there's laughter as well too. And I don't have anyone who is celebrating today on my list, but I will say to whomever is celebrating, happy birthday to you. And as I always say, and I make it my own little slogan, just live your life. Spend as much as you can on yourself. Go out and enjoy yourself. Live like you won't live to see another. Even though we pray and hope that you'll live to see many more. But if you have $10, spend $5 on yourself. If you have 100, spend 75. And continue working to build back up to 100. Yeah? So just enjoy your life, because these days, today you're here, today you're gone. So that's how fleeting life is these days. But I won't get a chance to express birthday greetings to my neighbor over there in Whitehall before I get back here next Friday. By the time I get here next Friday, her birthday would have been the day before. So on the 4th of July, my neighbor, and you know, I call her Nenen, because you know, I grew up in the, born and raised, not grew up, but born and raised in Whitehall, an area called Goat Hole. Yeah? But I never see any goat up there other than what we would have raised. But anyway, area just across the street from where Anita Nisbet live now, I grew up in that area. So I call Anita Nisbet Nenen. We go way back, and in the sense that she was an entrepreneur at some point in the past, where she sold ice and also what we call frozen joy. She would have sold Juicy and Bryson and those type of things, you know. So we would go across the street and buy our stuff and our condiments from Anita Nisbet or Anita or Nenen. And of course, when the old Whitehall School was above her, just up the road from her, when we go to the play field across the street, we used to slip down to Anita to buy our little frozen joy. You know, the place was hot, so you wanted that cool down. And so Anita would have played her role in our upbringing in many ways. And I can go on and say many, many more things. But I will just say, Anita, I want to ask God's blessings on you. You will be 90 come Thursday of next week, the 4th of July. And indeed, I will say that we go to the same church, the St. James Anglican Church. And of course, once I'm in church, Anita is in church. If I'm not in church, she is there. She don't miss church at all unless there is some reason for not coming, maybe some illness or something. But she has shown tremendous strength over the years. And you look at her, she goes along as if there is no pain. But of course, everyone have some pain walking around with. But she has done a marvelous job in raising her family. She would have lost her husband, Reuben Pappy Nisbet, some years ago. And of course, she would have had to carry the burden ever since then. So you have the children, Paul Nisbet, those of you who know him, a mechanic. Esau, who is in the construction field. Vanella Nisbet, she worked down there in the court down there at the Theodore Hobson building. and also Avril Nisbet. Of course, she has grandchildren as well, Valencia, Linne, and Leiden. And they're all there, and they all take care of Anita. Anita, I'm going to come and see you, but they will not go unless I come and spend some time. But it's always a pleasure spending time with you. And you know, she always give you a good word when you're partying, you know. Anita, good to see you as always. And listen, we're going to help you celebrate, of course, yeah? Okay, so all being well, I'll see you in church on Sunday as well, because they'll recognize you on Sunday, because we do that for persons who are celebrating in the upcoming week. So see you more on Sunday, all being well. Okay, so let's move on quickly. Uwale Water Taxi Facility. Last week I came with the numbers for May of 2024, and I said it was 22,997 persons who would have used that facility. I did not have the data from the months prior, meaning January, February, March, and April, so I have them now because they were in my book here, and I was able to do a quick search and found those numbers. So add the May total to the total prior up to the end of April, which was 97,454 persons. We have now 120,451 persons would have used that facility up to the end of May. That is tremendous, because remember what we have been saying. We're trying to reach somewhere around a quarter, well, I was saying a quarter, but we'll probably get about 250,000 by the end of 2024. We fell short last year, but we want to surpass that this year. So because of this facility, you have seen some tremendous inter-island commerce over the years that it has been operating, and we want to continue to grow that facility in terms of having that access to Reggae Beach, to St. Kitts in general. And of course, it is one of those, you know, recent projects by the Nevis Island administration that have been growing over the last couple of years, and we want to continue to see it grow further. So this weekend, of course, the buzz will be over there as well, because we have down in St. Kitts the continuation of what you call it, the music festival, which started last night, and it would continue this evening and go into tomorrow evening, which is the final night. So over the next 2 nights, then you will see quite a number of persons going through that facility. And that has certainly made the ease of travel. You know, back in the days, you go down to Bastille and you sit down there and wait until a ferry comes, or whatever the case might be. These days, it is Uber on water. That's what I call it. Uber on water. You just make a call and you can get a boat and you go. So utilize the service. Okay, let's move on. The weather. Last Friday when I was heading into the building, the skies opened. Rain started falling. And the same thing happened this Friday as well. So I was saying when I came into the doors here, I need to come to Von Radio every day, so we'll get rain every day. How about that? I'll try it on Monday, starting Monday, and see what happens. Because you see, that is the power of prayer. I was raised by my grandmother, as I said before, and she prayed morning, noon, and night. My grandmother prayed to a God who always listens. And when you pray to the Lord above for rain, rain comes. So we all must keep praying and continue to pray, and the results will be there to show. But definitely the showers were welcome just now. I don't know if it is still raining outside. I am indoors and enclosed, but whatever it is, it was a blessing in terms of cooling down the environment and the atmosphere out there. But while I'm on the weather, of course, this is a period of anxiety now, because of course we are seeing some activities in the Eastern Atlantic. Yeah, there are a couple of tropical systems that are heading towards the Lesser Antilles, and I would want us all to keep our focus and our game on. Yes, it is a period of anxiety. It is a period where we'll have to continue our preparations. Some of us may have done a large amount of preparation to this point, but you still have to continue to do some things here and there to ensure that if we get a storm of any sort, that we are at least adequately prepared for its onset. So from what I understand is that hopefully over the next couple of days, one of those systems will move from a tropical wave to perhaps a tropical storm, and if the environment is conducive, then of course it would turn into something larger. But we should not let our anxiety get ahead of us. We have been through this many times before, meaning some of us who are old enough have gone through storms over the years. And for a time here on this earth, we'll go through many more storms. So we just have to be prepared. But definitely things are looking, things are about to happen. Let's put it that way. We were told that we should have maybe 17 to 25 named storms this season. That is what the pundits have put out there as their prediction. And of course, they're saying also there'll be somewhere between 8 to 13 of those storms could become hurricane. And indeed, between 4 to 7 of them can become major hurricanes. So those numbers, as they are, they may sound frightening, but of course, we're just hoping and praying that some of these predictions, if they come to pass, then of course those storms could very well stay out to sea or become rain makers for us, because we do need the rain. Okay, so let's move on quickly. Time flies when you're on this program. It's a short hour, so let's go. Mango Festival this upcoming weekend, not this one, next weekend will be the start of our 10th hosting of our Mango Festival. This was started 10 years ago, of course, 2014, and it was the brainchild of the Honourable Mark Brantley as the Minister of Tourism. And indeed, this event has grown from strength to strength, larger and larger every year. And if last year was any indication as to what the potential is for this particular event, then it is something that we can expect this year to be even bigger, if the potential that we saw last year and the turnout that we saw last year materializes this year. So on Thursday of next week is the start of the Mango Festival. The itinerary is out. As a matter of fact, there's no need for me to go through all that, but it runs from Thursday down until Sunday. Sunday, I know, is the huge event down there in the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, starting at about, when does it start, 1 p.m. there? Well, the program is up, but I believe it runs from about 1 p.m. down until 11 p.m. because there'll be a concert as well. Some local artists will be down there performing. I like the lineup because there are some bands and some soca artists who will be there. And, you know, that is my genre of music. I love soca, calypso. So, you know, I'm going to be there for that. And I want hundreds, if not thousands of you to come along and enjoy the event as well. I can't enjoy it by myself. So come on down in your numbers. Thousands. The park is large enough for any amount of persons who would come from either St. Kitts, who are here on Nevis, who might fly in as well too. The park is large enough to hold everybody down there, because they have intentions to open up the entire park. So there'll be booths all around the park, yeah? So you'll have to walk around and enjoy, sip and munch and whatever you have and enjoy yourself down there. So that is next Thursday, going down to next Sunday. So the weekend is for us to enjoy everything mango. Our Mango Festival will be tremendous this year. And if it is going to match the taste of our mango, it will be sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah? Nice, nice. Yeah? Okay, good. Let's move on. Last week I made a mistake. I want to correct myself this week, because I said last week that the Combermere Methodist Church would have had their 195th anniversary church service last Sunday by mistake. That was my mistake, and I apologize. But it is this Sunday, the 30th of June at, well, I'm going to say seating starts at 3:30 p.m. because they want to have a prompt start at 4 p.m. So those of you who intend to be there to celebrate with the church, you need to show up for 3:30 at least to start taking your seats, so that they can have start at 4 p.m. over there at the Combermere Methodist Church this coming Sunday afternoon, that is. And of course, I did mention they have this fun day planned for the 13th of July. That is Saturday the 13th of July. They'll have their fun day up there at the old Combermere School grounds. That property is owned by the same Combermere Methodist Church, and right there at the old Combermere School grounds is where they'll have that fun day. Okay, so I've taken care of those, and I just want to quickly remind our people in the St. James area, in the St. Thomas Parish area, the 3 schools, primary schools, are having their graduation throughout next week. So on Tuesday, the 2nd of July, the St. Thomas Primary School will have their graduation ceremony. I believe it would be at the New Testament Church of God there in Jessops, I believe. But anyway, listen up and make a call and ask someone at the school to be certain. But I know it is going to be next Tuesday, the 2nd of July. And then, of course, the St. James Primary School will have their graduation ceremony up at the Mount Nevis Hotel next Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. So that, I think I'm correcting something I said last week as well. But of course, 4th of July, next Thursday, will be the graduation ceremony for the St. James Primary School. And indeed, on Friday, the 5th of July, at 9:30, I believe it is, the VOJN Primary School will have their graduation ceremony there at the Beulah Adventist Church there in Camps. Yeah, so that takes you of the 3 schools over there, 3 primary schools in St. James and St. Thomas Parish. Moving right along quickly, Culturama 50, of course. Culturama will be held this year, the 50th anniversary, under the theme Celebrating Culture, Embracing History. It's Culturama 50. It runs from the 25th of July down to the 6th of August. And every time I come here, like I said, I'm going to touch on Culturama because it is going to be epic this year. You know, the young people have some slangs that they use. It's going to be the bomb. It's going to be epic. It's going to be grand. It's going to be whatever. It's going to be good. Yeah? So this year we are inviting one and all to come to Nevis. If you haven't made your plans as yet, make them now. If you have made your plans, go on back, check and make sure that they're still intact, because we don't want you to miss out on Culturama 50. As I said some time ago, there's only one Culturama 50 that will ever be held, and it will be held this year. Yeah, so we are inviting one and all. I understand there are quite a number of family reunions. A lot of friends will be coming to reconnect with friends. So this is a Culturama to reconnect with the past and establish friendships for the future and all sorts of things. But Nevis is where the action is at, and I do believe that all of the indicators that I'm looking at is to suggest to me that quite a number of people, a large number of people, will be coming to Nevis to celebrate with us our 50th anniversary of Culturama. Now, there are quite a number of activities that have started already. These are the prelude to the big event, but in terms of my contribution to Culturama, of course, over at Herbert Beach, when I get down there, I don't want to move, because that's where I put on events for persons to come to the north of the island to enjoy, pulling some of the action out of town into the country area, so that everybody, town can get some fun, country can have some fun. There's nothing wrong with that, and whoever have a problem with it, I don't know why it is so, but we can say that the events are spread around the island, so each community can get a taste of Culturama when we have it each year. But this year we are having 2 events down there at Herbert Beach. On the 31st of July, of course, would be the homecoming celebration. We had that back in 2014 for the 40th anniversary, and now we are having it again for the 50th anniversary. And so we're hoping to have calypsos, we are hoping to have bands, we're hoping to have a bingo, we are hoping to have different type of activities down there to mix in the flavor of Culturama right down there at Herbert Beach on the 31st of July, starting anywhere around 6 p.m. and we go down until persons say, I'm ready to go home. What we are anticipating and what will like to happen is that when those folks come down from England, for example, which I understand the flight will be filled with nationals on that day, when they come home, they drop the bags at home and then probably take a shower and then come down to Herbert Beach, or those who are daring enough would get off the plane, come to Nevis, whether via the water taxi or whether the boat in Charlestown, and then they'll tell their family members to take out my bag. I'm going to Herbert Beach to get my dinner or something to eat and get some music and enjoy myself, so that the action starts right there and it goes right down until the August 6th, when the whole event culminates. But that will be the activity plan for July the 31st. And of course, we have our usual Herbert Beach affair on the 5th of August. That starts at 12 noon and goes down until midnight, and beyond midnight to 6 o'clock on the Tuesday morning, the 6th of August. We are going from 12 to 6. We don't want to go beyond that, because we want people to go and get themselves ready for the big Cultural Armour Parade in Charlestown. But we have music, we are going to have food, we're going to have all kinds of entertainment. And then, of course, early on the Tuesday morning, I've already solicited the help of Mr. Macefield Nisbet, one of our exercise gurus around here. He's going to have some aerobics down there on the 6th, the morning of the 6th, early morning. So you go and you jump up and you swim and you do whatever you can or you want to do. And then when you're finished, then breakfast will be ready on sale there down at Herbert Beach. So we're going all night into morning. People have asked for it, so if you ask for it, we're going to deliver, and we're going to have a packed schedule for you in terms of the entertainment that we're putting together, and those will be the 2 events down there at Herbert Beach. And so wherever you go on the 5th of August, whether you go to Jump Up for Juve, wherever you go, all road leads to Herbert Beach thereafter. We're going to be there from 12 midday down to 12 midnight and beyond into 6 o'clock. They're about on the Tuesday morning, the 6th of August. Okay, so that is my update, so to speak, in terms of what's going on for Cultural Armour and the likes. Let's move right along. Sorry. Yes, well, all of the preparations are on their way for Cultural Armour. Of course, those of you who would have passed up here at the Cultural Village or the Cultural Armour Complex and the Cultural Village, you will see work is ongoing, and indeed that would be ready for Cultural Armour 50, and the whole intention is to improve the aesthetics and improve the infrastructure, so that when persons come, they will be comfortable in the environment that they'll find themselves. And there have been some debates and some conversations as to whether it is necessary or not. Let me tell you something. I endorse what is going on there 100%. Why I say that? I will say here and now, that cultural complex is something that many other regional countries or islands would like to have. Everyone else, as far as I'm concerned, and most other countries would have their festival inside of their cricket stadium or cricket park or whatever you call it, the cricket grounds. So you'll have to build up infrastructure to accommodate that, whether it's up in Antigua, the ARG, down in St. Kitts in Warner Park, or wherever else you go. You go down in St. Martin, there's an area. Well, let me not start talking about other countries. Let me stick with Nevis. But that cultural complex, apparently the persons who normally operate in those booths, those kitchen, the stalls for the kitchen, said they were rat infested and all sorts of rodents and so forth. We had to clean all that up, paint it up, nice it up, so that at least we keep our people healthy and make sure that the food that is being served is of utmost the best quality, I must say. Yeah, so that is a no-brainer. The same thing with the cultural village. All that in terms of the space that is being provided. You know what would happen in the end? You can have some larger shows or bigger shows inside there. Have bigger shows, more people, more money is being made. So everything is done in such a way so that at least we're cleaning up and building up and ensuring that we are preparing for future events as well, in the future to come. Thank you. We are inviting people to come to Nevis, whether nationals or visitors. And if they come, they must come to something clean, something decent. And as I've always said, you never get a second chance to create a first impression. And so all of this is to ensure that we're doing the right thing. We are marketing our island and making sure that persons who come here will be so impressed that they'll want to come back from time to time. And that is what good government does. And there's some criticism coming from the opposition. Well, I don't even want to focus on the opposition this afternoon, because the negatives, we are not in that. We're into positive. We must have a positive mental approach to everything we do, and the negatives will come. But as I have always said to the Honourable Mark Brantley, who is the Premier, and his team, to stay focused and do what this island requires of us. We have a mandate to build this island and to ensure that we're improving the infrastructure, making sure work is there for our people, making sure that the progress of our people and the island is consistent with what they would want us to provide and they would want they themselves to have. And that is why we would want to continue to ensure that we continue to build this island. So the work is ongoing, beautiful. And then, of course, you have NEPAC as well down there. Some work has been done to solve some issues down there. That facility would be used. And I don't know of any other island next to us who are, well, St. Kitts don't. I'm hearing they're talking about building something similar. But that's okay. We have that already. And so we have to keep them in good order and in good standing so that at least they're there for our people to use from time to time. Also, of course, work continues down there at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. And let me be clear and let us understand that the park stretches from the main road all the way down to the ocean. And so the park itself, the green space that is there, which of course we are, those of us who are environmentally conscious, we know that is a huge thing for the island of Nevis. The green space with all of the green vegetation that enhances the environment, and it is something that we should all be proud of. And of course, if you go down further, all of those bars are looking so attractive. And earlier this week, Public Works was there milling the road and also resurfacing the road. I took a drive down there, I believe yesterday, yes, and what a marvelous sight. And I want to say to the people of Nevis, get out and have a look. Those who are coming here, come and have a look. Go out and have a look. Your island is improving and progressing leaps and bounds. And those who have the microphone and talking all of the negativity, if you want to listen to them, it's up to you. If you want to listen to them and miss the good things that are happening on Nevis, it's up to you. But I am imploring you to go on out and enjoy your island. Enjoy the environment. Listen, down there at Penny's, you leave the island main road. You can walk through the park and you drive down the road. You go down. You have a smooth surface now. You have sidewalks. You'll have lights. I believe they have turned on those lights already. And then, test them, so to speak. Yeah? And then the drainage is improved. Of course, you have public bath facilities down there. Things that were not there before. And so you have to tell yourself, when the CCM would have acquired over 700 plus acres of land down there at Penny's, that particular 14 acres of land was carved out for the people of Nevis. It was carved out for the people of Nevis to have some form of recreation and call it our own. So we can go there and enjoy Nevis right there. Enjoy what is ours. Enjoy our patrimony. And so we want to thank the Honourable Malcolm Gishard, now deceased, and the team then, the entire CCM team, that would have purchased lands, yes, and also carved out that particular tract of land for the people of Nevis to enjoy. And of course, we have to thank the Honourable Mark Brantley, because when he was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he would have negotiated with the Republic of China, Taiwan, to get us something where we can call it a partnership that was executed by the Republic of China, Taiwan, and the government and people of Nevis. So that is a partnership there, and it is something that the Taiwanese can certainly say when they go and come to this island, or when their officials come, they can point to it as one of those landmark or one of those projects that they would have participated in, and the benefits are there for the people of Nevis to enjoy, and of course anyone who comes from the Republic of China, Taiwan as well, to enjoy. So you look at those lands going all the way down to the beach, and what a marvelous sight. And it certainly is consistent with our thinking of preserving and taking care of the environment. And I certainly want to thank the Premier and also the resident ambassador, who was instrumental as well, who was played a major part, and those who would have gone on before. Ambassador Lee, I believe, was there when it was initiated, and of course all who have played a part in ensuring that we have that beautiful. I spend some time on it, you know, because every time I drive past that place, it is one that tells me when we hear so much negative, there are positive things happening on Nevis, and that is symbolic of all of some of the positive things that are happening here on the island of Nevis, and that is why we should embrace it and love it. You don't have anything to do at evenings, drive down. Enjoy life, enjoy the park, enjoy the scenery, enjoy everything and all of the amenities that are down there, yeah? Okay, let's move on quickly because, you know, we can spend half an hour on certain things. Yes, so what it is, I believe that the NIA, not I believe, I know for a fact they're still offering concession to those who would still want to do some work on their property before the cultural season comes. I believe the concession period ends on the 31st of August, where you can get concession on building materials. If you plan to do any fencing, for example, you want to do a driveway, you want to paint up your house, that kind of thing, go to the Ministry of Finance and get some information on that so that you can actually you know, do some work to enhance your environment or your property by the time cultural rolls around. Also, I want the people of Nevis to look for this and to try and get down there as soon as it is accessible. I believe they have some minimal access now. I'm not sure, but there's some work going on right down there at the Bath Hot Springs, the Bath Hotel, the Hot Springs down there, yeah? I saw a picture that was put on social media this morning by Premier Brantley, and listen, I have gone down there and seen things for myself, but when I look at that picture, it is more than what I would have seen when I went there some weeks ago. But I am telling you, some good things are happening right here on the island of Nevis that is going to transform the island of Nevis and make us even more proud to be Nevisians. So I want us to go down and have a look and see what is transpiring down there. The Bath Hotel, or the Bath Springs, sorry, are being transformed right before our very eyes. Nice vegetation, beautiful walls, and some repairs have been done to the different buildings down there, and additions have been made as well. Beautiful. And you know, what is symbolic about all this is that some work has been done on the old hotel, Bath Hotel itself. Those of you who are familiar with history would recall that that Bath Hotel was built, I believe, in 1778. I always remember that because it was 2 years after the American independence, which was in 1776. And of course, that was the first luxury hotel to be built in the Caribbean. And indeed, everything about that property has to be restored so that at least when persons visit the island, and I'm talking visitors now because we have access to these things every day, but when persons leave their country and they come to Nevis and they are told, go to the Bath stream, go to the Bath Hotel, that when they go, they're going to an environment that is much improved and one that is welcoming. We know about the exploits of the Bath streams in terms of what it means to all of us in terms of the therapeutic benefits of the Bath streams, and of course persons come here as a result of what they were told or what they would have read, and indeed they come here and enjoy it, just as the people in Bath Village, those from around the island who come in to Charlestown into the Bath streams to have some therapeutic time, sit back and relax and do whatever is necessary to cure whatever ailment. And those who want to question that may want to question it, but I know persons would tell you that there have been results from those therapeutic sessions that they have had there at the Bath stream. So lovely, very good, very nice. And I want to commend, I believe Sylvester Mead was the one who was spearheading that particular project. Well, Sil is a serious guy, you know, very serious fellow, and he has had some tremendous results from some of the exploits around the island in terms of the historical sites that he would have overseen in terms of their enhancement and improvement. So I want to congratulate you, Sylvester. I want to congratulate the Permanent Secretary and those in the Ministry of Tourism who are responsible as well for, you know, executing, getting the project going. and congratulate the Premier Minister of Finance, not Finance and also Tourism. Yes, you need finance for that as well. And of course, the contractors who are there. I don't know all of them, of course, but they have gone there. And let me not come off of this before I commend all of our local contractors, yeah? Because when we tend to put down our people have skills in abundance. And our people have been building the island of Nevis and leaving a legacy for all of us to marvel at for sure. So those who are responsible for the construction down there, I don't know all of you, but whoever is hearing me and you know you were responsible, I say congratulations to you. Those who are up at the cultural village and cultural complex, I say congratulations to you for your effort. I want you to put in double, triple time as well to make sure all of these things are wrapped up in the near future, within the next week or two or whatever the case might be. So at least we're not pushing it too close to the onslaught when it comes, because people are coming. So congratulations, yeah? Okay, so what else? Okay, so we continue to see improvements here on the island of Nevis. Of course, there are some people who are probably spending some time and energy to get their guest houses and apartments ready. And by the time the people come to Nevis, or when they descend on the island of Nevis, well, truth will erase lies. Truth will erase lies by the time persons land here on the island of Nevis. Because I spoke to a gentleman, you know, I'm not going to say a thing about him in terms of his name and what he does on a daily basis, but he is here for music festival and came to Nevis, was driving around, and basically they're out there on Facebook saying certain things on a daily basis, but once he come here, once he came here and he saw what the Wally Water taxi was like, when he saw the roads on Nevis coming from the north, coming into Charlestown, and the bypass road, and man, he said, boy, he just had to say, boy, I am impressed by what I'm seeing. Yeah? And that is why I say there are times when people will sit and listen to what is being spewed from the other side. Opposition have a role to play. There's no doubt about that. But opposition need to be considerate about what they're saying on the airwaves. Because if I am in America and I hear, oh Lord, no water in Nevis, oh Lord, the road them down the bad, oh Lord, the bypass, not the bypass road, Long Point got in a couple of you know, potholes, oh Lord, this, everything that is negative, then I would reconsider about coming. If I am an investor and I hear all of the negatives being spewed from the microphones here in Nevis or from social media, and the attack that is being made on investors here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, then I will reconsider. And that is why I say the words we communicate are powerful. Powerful in the sense that it can make a situation or break it. And if the opposition is out there trying to break down everything, then of course, well, nothing will get built, left to them. But I know for sure, as I've said before, and I continue to reiterate, that our government, the government that is in place, the CCM party that is in government, spearheaded by the Honourable Mark Brantley, will have to ignore the noise. Ignore the noise and go and build Nevis. Yeah? So the potholes that are on Long Point Road, I am certain that the Honourable Spencer Brand and his team will address that in short order, because that is what was spewed on social media, I believe, yesterday and a couple of days now, for the past couple of days, sorry, on Facebook and what's not. But I want to commend Minister Brand and his team for the work that has been done from up there, Market Shop area, heading all the way down into Charlestown. There were certain sections of the road in Gingerland area that were bad, yes, and they've gone and they've put in some chunk of patch, and it is smooth like silk. Very nice. Very good job. All of you. I think it's normally spearheaded by, what's his name, the Clinton Door. Clinton, I know you for a long time and I know you're a hard worker. Continue to work hard here. Stay off of social media too. Don't even worry about what is over there. Go and do your work and make sure you get it done. Good. And you'll be recognized accordingly, because I'm recognizing you now. You and your team. I always see you out there doing your thing, you know? So continue doing what is necessary, and I'm sure you're going to get to Long Point shortly, because earlier this week some paving was done down at Pinnis, so I suspect by next week you'll get to Long Point Road. But if there's a pothole in the road, nobody should be speeding on the island's main road. Everyone should be taking the time. You should be able to see. And if you drive a road every day, because I drive Long Point pretty much every day. I know where all the potholes them be, so I just find a way to get around them and go beyond my way. I ain't gonna complain one bit, and I never drop in on none because I know where they be. So those who live on Long Point and those who live over there, I am asking you to be cautious. Just take your time. The fix is gonna come, and you'll be comfortable as ever when it's all said and done. Yeah. So let's not make a big, or let's say make a mountain out of a molehill. Okay. So that takes care of that. We move right along. Island of Nevis, as I've said before. There's some good things happening. You know, when construction is booming in an island, you know the economy is growing, you know the economy is moving in the positive direction. Why I say that is that monies in the construction industry is circulating every single day. People have to buy construction. Well, let's start first of all. You have to get a plan done. Has to be paid for. Whoever the architect is, when it's submitted to planning, money has to be paid for the approval. When it's done, bill of quantities have to be done. Someone has to be paid. When that is done as well, you have to engage the bank. The bank will charge you for whatever mortgage. Then, of course, you go and you engage TDC, Horsfords, and all of the other hardware stores here in Nevis, Island Tires, and everyone else who sell hardware or construction items. And then, of course, you engage a contractor. The contractor have a team, and then the contractor and whomever the homeowner is would have to engage the concrete providers and whoever supply aggregates and that type of thing. So it is big business, and it's a large sector that is important to the development of any island or country. So when you hear the investment is being made in infrastructure, whether in the United States or whether in some other country, then you know there are millions of dollars that are being pumped into the economy so that you'll have persons working and goods and services are being consumed to ensure that you have that industry up and running and making money and improving more first and foremost, or ultimately the infrastructure of the island. So we see from time to time these trucks, these concrete trucks are running around Nevis back and forth. You know, sometimes you see a pump truck and 3 trucks are behind that pump truck. And I ask myself the question sometimes, yeah? I wonder if those trucks are going on a concrete truck rally, if there's such a thing. Because I don't think the persons at Lefco is going to load up 3 trucks with concrete 9 yards or 8 yards, whatever, and send them around the island just like that, like mad people. I don't think they'll send a pump truck out there to show the whole of Nevis I have a pump truck. They're heading somewhere to a job. And that is what is happening. The same thing with Dan's construction over here. When you see his trucks going, they're going somewhere. And as you go throughout the island of Nevis, everywhere you go these days, you see a new foundation opening up. Whatever is opened is being worked on, and some are coming to a conclusion. And you know, it is so interesting that these days you look around and you're asking for tradesmen to come and give you a 2 or 3 days job here or there to run some blocks, to pour some concrete, and you definitely can't find any. Contractors are now telling persons, listen, wait, give me another couple of weeks and I'm going to come because I need to bring this project to a particular stage before I can move. So construction is booming here on the island of Nevis. And listen, the best is yet to come, because over the summer and going down to the end of this year, quite a number of projects will be opened up here on the island of Nevis, so that employment will be here. And of course, when you have this level of activity, Social Security makes money, because the contributions have to be paid. The little mom and pop store on the side, or shop on the side of the road that sell the, you know, those bottled beverages and also whatever else they sell. On the weekends, you see the crowd going there to shop. On a daily basis too, I find something happening here on the island. A lot of caterers are going around the island and servicing these construction sites in their little vans. They're making money too. More power to them. More power to them, and I thank them for providing that service. So the persons who are working on these sites don't have to move to go anywhere. Van show up and you get your items to consume. Continue doing the people's work. Yeah? So I love to see that. And you know, it's interesting that we are saying that nothing happening on the island of Nevis, you know. But people are leaving Dominica. People are leaving St. Lucia. People are leaving Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica. All of them are coming here. This is like a melting pot now. So what do you think they're coming there for? I don't see them sitting down on the side of the road anywhere. I spoke to a young gentleman yesterday who was driving one of these vans that deliver bread. I asked him, where you from, bro? Say, from Jamaica. Young fella. I asked him, how is life? He said he started out kind of rough, but I'm making it. I tell him, listen, when you finish driving this van, make sure you find something else to do in the afternoon here, because I work in Nevis. If you have to go somewhere to be a bus boy or whatever you call it in these restaurants, go and do the work. Work is there. And so people are coming and realizing the opportunities are here, because I wouldn't leave Nevis to go nowhere to sit down in anybody's country or anybody's island. And I know they won't leave where they're coming from to come here to sit down either. So if they're coming and making a life in Nevis and repatriating that money back to their country, well, what happened here on the island of Nevis to those who say nothing happening? Nothing happening for them. When you're lazy and you don't want to make a life, or you don't want to do the hard work in life to make it through, then you sit and you complain. But people who have things happening and going for them don't have time to complain, you know. They have time to work. And it's work they work in. I remember the good old days. When we used to sit and wait for boxes from St. Thomas. Boxes of food from St. Martin. Money coming, you used to be sitting down listening for the postman to come. You're listening, that sound like the postman coming, eh? Because you know what you're waiting for? That envelope with some, what do you call it, remittances or some money from your family member overseas. Well, you know what happened now? We don't even catch boat to go nowhere to buy nothing now. I remember C. Hustler and Lady Mignon. Lady Mignon and C. Hustler and all those used to go down to St. Martin and station with people in there with a big blue barrel and all kind of things going to buy food. And then we wait for MV Effort and so forth to bring in boxes and so forth, and FedEx, whatever the other boats them were that brought cargo into us. We don't rely on that now. Spending power is there on the island of Nevis. The money is staying here. And so that is why when I hear all of these negatives, you could imagine all people are sending money overseas to their family members now. It is happening. Nevis is prospering in such a way where money is being made and people are sending money overseas to their family now. So how could we sit here and listen to people who ain't want to work, don't want to work, afraid of work, allergic to work? Gonna tell you so much things are so wrong with the island of Nevis and nothing happening in Nevis. But what kind of foolishness these people talking? Well, as you all see anybody with barrels down on the pier going down to St. Martin to buy food. People have worked out that it's cheaper to stay here to buy than to buy a boat fare. Pay for the boat, that is. Pay for the cargo. Go down there, spend a night or 2 nights in some hotel or guest house, and then eat food down there. And then when you work out the cost, you better have stayed there buying your food here. I don't shop overseas, because I have looked at the prices, and maybe all of the prices are not as low as some of the commodities overseas. But when it's all said and done, when it lands here, even persons who are from the United States will tell you that they ain't going to bring anything from the States because prices here are better. Mark you, I'm not saying that they're cheap, but they're better than what they'll find in the United States in many regards. Do your homework, and then you'll see that all of the negatives you're hearing is just hot air. I look at the Long Point Pier over at the port. 40-something vehicles, I believe, came in last week or the week before. Well, how do you get money to buy these things? You mean they send them from Japan for free? I never hear such thing. The week before that or the month before that, it was almost 30 vehicles that came in. I will come with the data next week. I'm going to ask for it and find out how many vehicles have landed here in Nevis over the past 6 months. Let's call it 5 months, up until the end of what you call it, May at least, or perhaps 5.5 months. I'm going to ask for the data, because I will say to you that when you have the spending power and the banks are working with the citizens, then of course you'll have this level of activities in terms of persons purchasing a vehicle, for example, to get themselves to work. Not only get themselves to work, they're making a business out of it, because some of these will be rented, of course. and monies will be derived from that. So listen, good things are happening in Nevis. Anyone who is listening to me overseas, take it from us. Good things are happening in Nevis, and good things will continue to happen because the management of the island of Nevis are in good hands. There's a tagline in the States for one of these insurance company: you're in good hands with Allstate. Well, you're in good hands. You're in good hands with the Honourable Mark Brantley and his team and the Concerned Citizens Movement. I will tell you, steady course with the Concerned Citizens Movement. And like I said before, and I'll wrap up this way, those of you who live here on the island, go out and have a look. Those of you who are coming to the island, come and have a look. Good things are happening in Nevis, and I leave you with that for now. There's a whole heap of things here. I was going to touch on CBI and all kind of things, but sometimes, oh man, I'm going to take out a 2-hour slot one of these days to say more. But let's leave it as that. And I want to say to you, it was indeed my immense pleasure being here this afternoon. And as I always wrap up, I say, those of you who go to church on Sunday to serve your God. Continue to be a good citizen. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless the island of Nevis and the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy yourself. And make sure you're ready to face a new week next week to continue to build the island of Nevis and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
You're listening to Vaughn Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.